Testing. Yep, everything is working. Good. Oops, it was on mute. That's so funny. All right, never mind. I'm going to start in about 9 minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. What time is it? 10:54. All right, there's no one here, so I'm just talking to myself. Where shall we begin then? That's the question. Well, I wanted to have a look at the Elliott waves. Let me just bring my mic a little bit closer so we get a bit of higher volume there. Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Hopefully the volume is good. I could bring my mic here. It will look really cool, huh? That help. Let me see if that makes a difference. Then I have this mic here. Then I look really professional. Professional. Is that better? Talking into my mic like this. Hello. Go loud and quiet. I kind of don't like how it's in the way though. That'd be better. Right there. Let me see. Maybe here. Is that better? I'm talking to the mic. Or straight into the mic here. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. You can't see my Dtravel top. Maybe actually over here is better. Let's have a look. I'm trying to be closer. It's as close as I can get without it being right in my face. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Not too bad. Right, let's go over that. So, yeah, I wanted to have a look at Elliott waves. It's going to take some time, Elliott waves. So, we'll go back to my index chart. What time is it now? 10:56. Still a bit earlier. I'm just going to start now. So, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to have a look at the Elliott waves today on Bitcoin, and I need to go to the index chart because that's where I've been mapping it out. And I haven't actually looked at this chart in a long time. So, I have different thoughts on this, actually, completely different thoughts. But in the meantime, let me just have a look at what I was looking at before. Hold on. Let me just have a look at these lines. Interesting. Wow, look at that. Tapped the golden pocket like there's no tomorrow. Look at that. Wow. Oh my God, what a reaction. That's a reaction. Look at that. Bam. 74k. Shit. Wow. I'm going to have to look at this in more depth. Wow. Get rid of these. Get rid of these. Go look at these later. Wow, 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 wow. Why did that work? I don't understand. Don't understand how I predicted that. I need to go back and have a look at the videos, huh? Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't really like that. Let's try that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your 3, 4, and we're in the 5. So let's over that one. This one. One, two, 3, 4, 5. I actually honestly prefer this one. Of all of them, I prefer this one. Why? Because usually the wave, this is the first wave, the first impulsive is quite, this is a really aggressive wave. Ridiculous percentage increase in value. Look, just ridiculous. And then you have these kind of, third wave is usually consists of like really nice forming waves. You know, the third wave is really the biggest wave, but it also constructed of, again, another wave 1, another aggressive wave. And the third wave, and then a fifth wave. That was like that. 2, 3, 4. So we get that. All third wave is just one big wave. 3.1 million. Let's have a look at this one. Let's see what it comes to. Let's see what it comes to here. 5 million, 3 million. Yeah. And then what are we on now? 600%. No, it doesn't really work. That doesn't make any sense, because here you've got 5 million%, there you've got 3 million%, and so far in this market we've only gone up 500%, doesn't it? Unless we push up. Doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make sense. All right. So logic really does dictate when you're doing Elliott waves as well. You can't just ignore logic. So let's have a look at this one, the one that I was doing before. So you have your first 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your wave 1. How many is that? 2 billion%. Which means we're in a wave 3 now. You go from 2 billion% to where we are now. Again, that doesn't make sense. 2 billion% to 2,000%. That doesn't make sense either. It doesn't make sense, does it? I do prefer that one. What's this one? Let's try this one. Again, you're going from really low. Again, what's that? 3 billion%. And then you're going from to 3,000. Could that be the wave 1? Maybe in the wave 3. Yeah, I do like that. So if that was the 1, how much was that? 29 million. So that ends one there. If the one went up to there instead, if that was the 1, 2, and now we're in the 3. 3. Trickier. Elliott waves are really tricky, especially when you're looking at the kind of higher time frame, and they're extremely subjective. Extremely subjective. You're counting waves, you're counting impulsive waves. The problem is at the beginning here, it's like, where does it begin, huh? You've got to count waves, huh? You've got to count waves. And so at the beginning it was hard because it was so sketchy, huh? I'm just assuming that it's one wave, but look. 1, 2, you've got to count. It's like a 1, that's your first impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's your wave 3. There you go, that's your wave 5. That's correct, that's your wave 1. Now you go into a corrective, bam. Then you're in a wave 3. Now, this is the question. Is that a wave 3 or a wave 1? A wave 3? Is that a 2? Is that a new 3? Is that a 1 of 3? Or is that the 3 of this first one? Where that was the 1. So there's different ways you can draw this. And the thing about Bitcoin is it just keeps on going up. So you could effectively be doing a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Like, you know, you could, it's so hard to count because it just goes up. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, you know, 1, 2, 1, 2. So there's different ways of doing this. It's really subjective. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the 5, that ends the 1 there. And that hits perfectly on the 618 there. So that gives you a little bit of confirmation that that's a correct ending there, just because it hits the 618 from this pivot to this low, this pivot high to this low. I think that was the one. I think this was the first wave, wasn't it? It looks like it. It's very kind of impulsive. It just goes up, 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 up. Pretty much no corrections until you get this kind of corrective move. And then it starts to go again. And what's interesting is from this pivot to this pivot, you have a 618 and it stops at the 618, doesn't it? Let me just test that, make sure it's correct. Is it correct? From this, not the top there, but this one here. Why did I do it like that? I'm not sure why. Go back and have a look. What if I change it to this one? Does it still hit? No. So, interestingly enough, that is an overshoot, whereas that is the correct pivot there. You see that? Just because of the way it hits the 618 perfectly here. See that? And you can clearly see it hits the 618 and it acts as resistance. Yeah, you see that? Chili, welcome. Wait a minute, why am I saying hi? I've got this new streamer thing. It says hi, but it shouldn't be my name, it should be your name. So obviously I've done something wrong. Let me try and figure this out. This overlay, I've got this new overlay on my stream. But let me just try and figure this out. Overlay, effects, effects, styling, visibility. I've got to use the first names only. Oh, I understand. Let me just update this quickly. There. So now if you chat, oh, you're going back to work. Now if you chat, it should overlay on the screen so people can see what you're saying. And so when I chat, people don't have to look at the chat. They can just look at the stream and they understand that I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to actual people. So I hope this is working. Whatever. Oh, you go back to work. Yeah, you should always work. Yes, it's better. See, yeah. Volodymyr, yes, it's better. Why is my face appearing then? I need to get rid of that. Hold on, let me just adjust this because I haven't done this. Hide badges. I don't want to hide badges. Hide avatars. Let's not hide avatars. Get rid of astrology. Let's try that. Let's try this. That's good, isn't it? It's not bad, huh? I've been improving. Improving. There. How about that? Say something now. It should be better. You have to chat. Chat, 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 chat. Say something. God, you're useless. All right, let me get back to my analysis. I got distracted. But I do like it when people chat. It means I'm not alone. Except right now it's only Chile. Volodymyr Chile. Oh my god, yawn. Everyone at work. Yeah, that's better. Look, Volodymyr, everyone at work. Yes, it works. How cool is that? It works. Should I change the color to yellow? I could change it to yellow. Maybe yellow is better. Actually, I don't mind white. I'm going to have to get David to style it for me. All right, you get back to work. I'm going to continue doing my stuff. If someone said big text or link. Don't know, I haven't tried it. I have to see. I'll have to adjust it as people interact in the future, because I can adjust it and I can change it. But it looks like it's working, huh? It looks like. What I need to do is get another screen here so I don't turn my head all the time. I can just look straight up. I'm going to post something on Instagram because I'm bored. I'm bored of streaming. I'm not really bored, but I just got this pop-up saying stylized picture. New stylized photo. I love these stylized. When Google recommends these stylized photos, they're really cool. Oh, fuck, where did it go? Oh, where did it go? I had the picture a minute ago and it's gone. So annoying. Stylized. When the stylized photos gone? That's so annoying. Right, back to work, back to the charts. What am I doing? Getting distracted while I'm wasting valuable stream time. I only stream like not occasionally, and here I am wasting time. So that's the first wave. It looks like it, doesn't it? So 1 2 3 4 5, and it kind of finishes there. It looks like it, doesn't it? That's your correction, and then you start another wave, right? Now the question here is this wave 1, is this wave 3, or is this wave 1 of the next 3? And usually one of the waves is really impulsive, yeah. Usually it's and 3 is usually, it's either like if 1 is the biggest, then 5 will be the shortest type thing. Like it'll be bigger, smaller than smaller, and then, or it's going to be smaller, bigger than bigger type thing. It's kind of how it usually works. It's not always the case, but in this scenario you can see that that was really big, and you went from how many million% in the first wave, like 3-4 million% to the next wave, which was 61,000. Now the question is this is the real question. This is hard. Yeah, it's hard because you have to, is that wave 1 2 3 4 5 like that? Is that your first wave? Is that your first wave? That's the question. 1 2 3 4 5, is that your first wave, or is it a 1 and then your first wave, that's your first wave, and you have a 2 and you start your third wave. Your third wave consists of 1 2 3 4 5. That's your third wave. So there's a difference here, isn't it, in the way the waves begin and end, in that in this circumstance this is the 0 going to the end of the 1, and we've only just begun the 3 here for a 2 to the 3. This is the beginning of the 3, and that the whole thing was the wave 1. Or was that your wave 1, and this whole next 1 2 3 4 5 was the 3? Or you could do the same thing. You can say, well, in the same way that I've done it, that was your 1, that's your 1, and we've only just begun the 1 2 3 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in the 5 now type thing. Yeah, like 1. It's quite impulsive. 1 to 1, wave 1, and another wave 1. That's the 1 of 3. That's the 3 of 3. And you have the 5 of 3, which ended in the last bull market. That whole thing from there to there was your wave 3. So basically your wave 3 lasted a good part of 10 years. 10 years. And now, since the bear market bottom of 22, we're in a wave 5. This is kind of where I'm at right now, to be honest with you. This is where I'm at. I actually think this, for me, this makes a lot more sense than anything else. This is kind of where I'm at. It's all subjective. I'm not 100%, okay? It's all subjective because the price just keeps on going up. You could draw this so many different ways. Christoph, welcome. The market is shit again today. I haven't really looked at the market yet, but I'm going to have a look. Hey, T13. Can you do node AI GPU? Nice tokenomics, good narrative. GPU is not oil. GPU. Oh. Hey, I've got a few more people here. Amazing. Welcome. Welcome, Christoph. Welcome, T13. Welcome back, T13. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. So what do you want me to do? Wrap this up quickly and focus on something else? Or you want me to finish what I'm kind of like doing right now? I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I prefer this right now. I kind of think that maybe we're in a wave 5 now of this whole first wave. Ultimately, this is the whole thing is a first wave. And we're in the last wave. It's kind of where I'm at. My mind is at right now. I'm still there. Like, I've done so many iterations and versions of this to try and make sense of the whole thing, not just the last part. And in my mind, I'm thinking that was quite impulsive. Then you have these big 3 waves, with the first one being the most impulsive. And then you're coming down for another wave, which is your final wave, your final 5 of this whole big move, this whole Bitcoin move. That will bring Bitcoin to a climax, this last bit here. Now, if that is the case, let's just focus on this last wave then. This is your wave 5. How do you draw that out? Well, for that, I'll probably go to my Bybit chart and have a look here, because I've done Elliott waves on that too. And you're basically starting at the bear market low, which was somewhere in November 22. And again, you're just counting waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, correction. Now, then you're drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be your wave 3, another A, B, C correction. Then you're doing another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That ends your wave 1. So what's going on now? Are we in another wave? Yeah. Or the way you can imagine this is, could that just be the 1? And we still haven't completed this last wave? Yeah. Or are we still in the 3? That's your 1. 1, 2. I'll explain. If you ignore this purple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your 1, 2, 3. This is the 5. And we're still in the 3. And we still have a 5 to go. And so effectively, you're looking at a kind of a different kind of setup here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete your final wave. Like that type thing. So we're still in the 3, actually. We're still at the end of the 3, but this is the 5 of the 3, the final bit of the last 3 before we go into a little 4, and then we get the final last push, which is the 5 to complete this. Yeah, actually, you know what, my mind is here. Just looking at it right now, my mind is here. I'm looking at this. I think that was your first impulsive wave correction, ABC. Then you have your first 5 waves, which is your wave 1, but it's the one of the 3. Then you have the correction. Then you have the 3 of the 3 correction. Then you have the 5 of the 3 correction. And then you have the 5, which is just going to be bam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight up, kind of like this first one. So in my mind, I'm thinking that the 3 has 5 distinctive correct waves, 3 distinctive impulsive waves, 2 distinctive corrective waves, which we have experienced, haven't we? Correction, correction. And so I still think we're in the 3, but we're at the tail end of the 3, bringing us to the end of the 5. Then we'll have another corrective move, and then we can have this kind of last blow off impulsive 5 waves up, and then that's it. That's where my mind is at right now. Honestly, that's really where I'm at. Just looking at the whole of the charts and just kind of coming to this point, just looking at the index, just looking at everything. Unless something changes, this is where I'm at. All right. So how do we know if this is correct? Well, invalidations are really important. And the only way to know is if pivot lows are taken. And this actually makes sense, because if you look at the blue one that I've just drawn, you see that's the top of the 1, and the 4 can't come underneath the top of the 1, and it doesn't, does it? So technically that blue wave is actually making sense. So we're in the 5 right now, and of the 5 we've just experienced the first wave, haven't we? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've just had the first wave, and now we're in a corrective wave. So now I'm expecting the 3 of the 5, and then the 5 of the 5. All right, so I'm kind of, this is literally where I'm at right now, and it makes sense because we've had our 1, and now we're still in the 3, but we're actually in the 5 of the 3, which is where we're at now. We've already had the first wave, so the next wave, if I'm right, should be the 3 of the 5 of the 3. Can you wrap your mind around that? So it's the 3 of the 5 of the 3, and then you have the 4 of the 5 of the 3, the 5 of the 5 of the 3, then you go into the 4 of the 5, and you go into the 1 of the 5 of the 5. So it kind of goes up. It's like a hierarchy, right? So this is kind of where I'm at, which will bring us to the end of all of this. That's the climax of the whole thing. Because ultimately, once that completes, and I'm not always right, okay? So don't quote me on this. It's all entertainment, isn't it? Entertainment value only. But potentially, that will bring an end to this, to what I've been imagining since the beginning, although I haven't been charting it since the beginning. And that would be your 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the end of the last bull market for a 4. And then we're in the 5 now, which will bring us to the end of this. That will take us to wherever this ends, and then we'll be in a real correction now. And honestly, I possibly think the correction could last 2 years, a bit longer than people expect. Yeah, just because this market has been so bullish for such a long period of time, according to this, 15 years. And then I think possibly we're looking at a corrective move, could be 2 years, just to kind of fill the volume at these higher prices before we really get into the wave 3 that will be the wave 3, and that will take us to crazy prices potentially, because that will be the next, that will probably be mass adoption crypto, or Bitcoin goes to 0. I mean, who knows? Like, no one really knows what's going to happen next. No one really knows. So let's just go back to the current Elliott wave. So I've kind of got to this point now, haven't I? I've just kind of gone around in a little bit of a circle, just looking at my other charts, just kind of having a look, giving a little bit of commentary on what I'm seeing and what I can imagine in the future. I kind of like this still, what I did before. You've got this red one here to there. Then you started this blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is good. makes perfect sense because we don't drop underneath there. I like that. And so right now I'm looking at where we are now. I see that we've had a little bit of an impulsive move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe up to that point there. Let me just mark this out. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do you mark this out? Let's zoom in a little bit more. Behind that purple. So kind of this is where we're at. The one there, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5 again is breaking up into 5 waves. Now, do you know what? It is always possible, and I just want to just mention this. It's always possible that this is it. Yeah, I just want you to be aware. So there is a very clear invalidation here, and it's here. If for reasons that I can't explain and I don't understand, the price of Bitcoin invalidates this as a continuation, as wave 1 of a continuation, then it means that that was the end. That was your end. And so then that was that. And then actually this is actually more of a 4 correction. And then you're looking at a more kind of like a muted 5. Yeah. So there are ways to interpret this if things happen. There are trigger points, which there are invalidations which could change the outcome of what I'm. So I'm looking at a really bullish scenario here, but a less bullish, a more bearish scenario would be invalidating that low. Okay, that would be a very clear invalidation of a continuation for this to just be the wave 1 of a 5-wave move. That means that this 5-wave move that we've just experienced, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, is the end. It's probably to there. Just looking at the impulsiveness. 1, so it's kind of like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. That's your move. Okay, and that would be your end of your move. But I'm not looking at it like that. I'm still thinking for upside, mainly fundamentally. Because of the fundamentals, you know, it looks like the wars have kind of come to a wrap. It looks like quantitative easing is back on the table. Money printing is going to happen. Interest rates are coming down. There's a lot of kind of fundamental factors that are probably going to give us a nice run, hopefully to the end of the year. A lot of people are thinking up till September, but actually I'm not. I'm thinking maybe we have like a pullback in September, but then we have a really nice rally from October through to November and December, right to the end of the year. That's kind of what's in my imagination right now. You have invalidations, clear invalidations of what could happen. So for me right now, this is a clear invalidation. If the price of Bitcoin goes all the way down underneath 74k, then clearly we're in a much more muted bull run, and it would have a massive impact on the future. Okay, right now I'm feeling really quite bullish. Why? Because we're underneath the all-time high. It looks like we're consolidating, even though I do probably think we will pull back. Right now I'm just like looking at this. Let's try and count a little bit. Let's just see if we can count these waves. We're looking for impulsive waves from pivot lows. There's your first pivot there. It's your first impulse. So it could be corrective, and that could be your first impulse. So there are options here. But probably this one, actually, just looking at it, just because this correction comes underneath there. Let's go, so let's just say that's the 1. It's a tricky one here because that comes underneath it. It was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's clearly a corrective move here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that makes sense. So actually, it's to there. There's your 1. Maybe something like this. I'm going to have to revise it. Let me just revise it a little bit and change the color. So you have your one. Let's zoom in a little bit to try and see if I can count properly. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you kind of like what you're looking for waves. Maybe wave 1, wave 3, wave 5. Something like that. Yeah. Like a 5-wave correction here. Yeah. And you have your impulse. This is like another 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as your first wave correction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Yep. One, two, three, four. Kind of messy, but yeah. So you got like 5 waves in that wave 3, kind of, just to take us to that pivot point there, which was the all-time high. That makes sense, doesn't it? To impulse to a new all-time high, and then correction. C's, ABC's, like a 5-wave correction. Then you have your last kind of impulsive wave, wave 1, correction, wave 3, correction. Oh, kind of shitty impulsive. That's kind of a way I'm have it right now for a final 5 to there. Which means we're correcting, doesn't it? It doesn't it? A, B, C. It's kind of what it means, doesn't it? A little bit. And that is assuming that was your wave 1 over. Now I could have got this wrong. This correction could have started here. And that's your first impulse, and this is a first corrective. We'd have to see how this plays out, because we'd have to see more of a little bit of a consolidation here with some really bullish divergences to kind of think differently. Whatever happens, I possibly think, because this here is a V-shaped recovery. I'm looking at it now. Here, that's a V-shape. We've come into the 50 fib. So this is nice, actually. This is really nice. If we just consolidate here and we just can't go under, then possibly it's more like this, ABC, and then actually the 5 ended up there somehow. So I've miscounted this. How would I have miscounted this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, correction. It's hard, it's weird. Don't know. Don't think so. I don't think I've miscounted it, but I don't know 100%. Unless, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, this for me, this looks like 5 waves. Wave 1, wave 3, final 5. And where does it go to? The way to check is with fib extensions. Let me just do some checking here to see if I'm right. Hold on. Fib extension tool. Amazing. I look at that. That 1.618 lands perfectly on that blue, whatever that blue is. On that 618. Wow. How far does this go? To the 2. Oh wow. Look at that. So just based off that first wave, the third wave took us to the 1 to 2. Right there. Look at that. Amazing. So that gives you a little bit of confirmation about these ratios, and you've got the pivot points right. Just with a fib extension, just getting this first wave is really important. If you get this first wave right, then it gives you some indications about, look, you see that 1.618, that was a perfect confluence with the 618 on the higher time frame. And then this move actually took us to the 1 to 2 here perfectly. Look at that, perfect. So that these ratios are right. That for me gives me confirmation that that was the end of the 3. That was what I was thinking. So, and this, look, this comes all the way back to the 1.272. Now there's probably something else here that's giving us a little bit of indication about how far it returned. Let me just check this. It's a shade over the 382. Look, oh my god, 382, perfect tap for the final impulse. See that? Which was also corresponding to 1.272. So it came all the way back to the 382, which was this corrective move here. It's like a 5-wave correction, and then bounce for the final impulse. The final impulse. See that? So there's really good ratios here in these Elliott waves. Yeah. So it's just something to bear in mind. I think that's probably the end of the first wave. It actually happened at the 10th of June. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's probably your first wave. Okay. Now we're in a corrective move. And the question now is, what kind of correction are we in? Are we in a kind of like a flatter correction right now? Or these lines are important because they're obviously being respected. Are we in a flatter correction? I think if that's the end of the 5 there. Okay, right there. Do a bit of fib time now on this correction. We go to a slightly higher time frame. Do that again. There's a little bit of deception here, I think. Yeah. Looks like the market is bullish, but actually I'm thinking, no, maybe not. Oh, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. What we want to see is an ABC pattern, right? That would be a front run of the 1-to-1. And that's really what we want to see. A clean sweep of the lows there. Don't we? A nice ABC corrective move like that. No, it's not really a zigzag. It's more of a flat, but kind of a wide flat. I'm assuming this 1-to-1 on these pivots is a little bit front run. See that? By literally a day or 1.5 days. Yeah, I'm assuming that kind of landed correctly on the 1-to-1, which is that line there. See that? I'm assuming that's correct. So fib time is the areas of time. They're not exact digits. So the higher you zoom out, the more accurate they seem. Okay, and there's a really nice 12-hour reversal pattern there on those candles. So I am thinking that that could be a kind of like a local top there without taking out that high. So there's a little bit of liquidity there, isn't there? Look, that was the all-time high. Slightly lower, isn't it? When I'm looking at this, I'm seeing that there's a little bit of liquidity there that hasn't been reached because you're putting in lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So unless we get a swing failure without taking the all-time high, then I'll probably be expecting something more like this than this, probably. So who knows? Like, no one really knows what's going to happen, but I am thinking that we're putting in a local top here for another move down, for a corrective move like this type thing. And let me just use fib time again. I'll use it on the 12-hour time frame. Get rid of that one. So a 1-to-1 on that fib time will bring us to the second week of July. But like a much more slower descent, probably in the third week of a 1.618 would bring us down to the third week of July. So there's a week gap there. And then what you're looking for potentially is just a sweep of that low. Probably a sweep of that low all the way down maybe to 96. Shit, it's quite lower. I mean, look, what I'm seeing here is a V-shaped recovery, right? There's your V. All right. Without taking the highs and holding above the highs, usually V-shaped recoveries pull back down to the 50 fib, usually, don't they? So I'm just talking about probabilities now. And that would actually bring us all the way down to 91k. Wow. Can you imagine? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. That would be an extended, what's that called? What kind of flat correction is that called? Let me just go into Discord and see if I can find it, because I know Altcoin Dreaming posted some stuff. And if you go into my Discord, the link is below. There's lots of information here that Altcoin Dreaming has posted, Learning Zone. And one of them is on Elliot Waves. So let me find it. It's always good to look at these cheat sheets, yeah, because we can't remember everything. Elliot Wave cheat sheet, see that? So you can come to my Discord, come into these channels. I chat sometimes. I've been away, haven't I? So naturally, because I've been away, I haven't really been active, but I'm back. So I am a little bit more active now, especially when it comes to posting divergences, because I'm quite good at that. And so here, this is a really good cheat sheet on Elliot Waves. And what you're looking for is the corrections. So that's a zigzag, look, zigzag, double zigzag, triple zigzag. See, that's a regular flat, irregular flat, running flat, which is a higher flat, contracting triangle, expanding triangle. Not a zigzag. They don't have the one that I think. It's a flat, but it goes down. It goes down twice as far. Because you've got a real bad drop off here. A real sell off. But actually you're just coming back into I'm not 100%, huh? But the timings are very clear, huh? The timings are very clear. We're looking at the 2nd or the 3rd week of July. And I'm actually thinking the bottom comes in the 3rd week of July. I'm thinking like this. I don't know if it's going to be there or there. And so in my mind, I'm thinking to take that low or to come much lower. And then let me just have a look at some other lines. I mean, you've got a big support zone here, and this is the thing. You've got a big support zone here. So it is possible that we just have something like this, like an inverse head and shoulders here, just because we have to see real bullish divergences at the low of this range. So we are forming a little bit of a range here. Yeah. And if we come down and we start forming some bullish divergence and we fail to take that low, then actually that might be it by next week or the week after. So I'm giving us about a week and a half, week to week and a half, to see what plays out. But ideally what you want to see is you want to see the price fail to go down and just struggle and put in a higher low here. That would be nice because the timing is correct. Or we want to see a little bit of a free fall all the way down to 91k like this. For a bounce, the bounce will be back into the range. That'll be your first impulse, wouldn't it? That'll be that'll be your next impulsive wave. You get back into the range. That's bullish. And then you're going to start riding high. It'll be really bullish then. Because then you'll take out that high, it'll be a V-shaped recovery. You'll probably end up consolidating here above the all-time high. That'll be your next wave. You'll be a little bit of consolidation there, and you'll start going up like that. Yeah. So there's a couple of possibilities I'm thinking. I'm thinking down. I'm not thinking up. I'm thinking down. I'm thinking either we kind of put in a higher low here to form an inverse head and shoulders here. Everyone will see that and they'll start buying. And maybe we'll have a breakout. It'll be like an inverse head and shoulders, breakout, back test, and then up. Or we get a drop, shake out a lot of people. This is going to zero, bounce back in the range, and then rally for the next wave. And so there's a couple of things that I'm thinking here at the moment. And actually what we need is a little bit more data. Timing wise, just based on these Elliott waves, I'm thinking we are hitting the top of the B corrective now. And the next kind of major pivot point is obviously going to be this 1-to-1, which is Monday the 14th of July. But depending on what happens, it could be the 1.618, which would be more like this, which is what I've drawn like this. See that? For we lose that low, so we don't get any reaction off that pivot. We lose this area, so it's starting to look really weak, and then we drop down to take out this pivot. But actually what you're doing is you're coming back to test this 50 fib. You're coming back to test this 1.618. You're coming back to test the horizontal channel line at 91k. So I think it's quite an important area with 91k to hold 91k on the back test. Let's just see where the volume is. You're coming back down to test the value area low. You see that? The value area low of this whole range. One more back test, and then you get a reaction there, bounce back over the point of control, and then it starts to pump, and we're in our next wave type thing. So we have a few things going on here. I'm contemplating two options, okay, based on what I'm seeing right now. All right, at the moment I don't think we're just going to go straight up. I mean, look, anyone can be wrong, right? For reasons that I can't explain, the price can always do this. So I'm not thinking it's a high probability. I'm thinking it's less likely. It's more likely now to go down just because of these corrective move that I'm seeing, these counts that I've done. And so right now I'm just thinking if we can either put in a higher low here, or we lose that area, we drop down, we lose that pivot, we lose the point of control, and we're going right down to the value area low to back test this 50 fib, which is 618. That makes sense to me because I'm looking at a V-shaped recovery there. And usually with V-shaped recoveries, you get this kind of channel for a back test of the 50 fib. That's your entry. Bam! This is your entry for a really nice entry. Then you kind of break up, and then you start pumping, and that's your V-shaped recovery. That's kind of where my mind is right now on this. Get everyone really bearish, and then pump, all-time high again, consolidate above the all-time high, and then price discovery. Here we come. That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's going to look really bearish in the next week. That could always have something, you know, like war can always erupt just like that. Travel TRVL soon, $1. Yes, bring it on. Yes, this is what we want. So I've been on this for a little bit. I've been on this for 1 hour. I've been looking at Elliot Waves on big BTC. I've been looking at the current chart right now. It's just an opinion, yeah. Entertainment value only, yeah. Don't never just hold true to my predictions because I could always be wrong. I'm just looking at the order flow right now. You see that it's all the way at 108. We were getting bearish divergences yesterday, a bit of liquidations, and right now what I'm looking at is we're above the VWAP, we're above the daily open. That's actually quite bullish, you know, to be above the VWAP, above the daily open. Now you lose the daily open and the VWAP, it's going to get bearish really quickly, really fast. What I'm seeing is that the price going up is declining open interest, so it's basically shorts closing. It's not really longs opening, yeah. It's not longs opening that's pulling the price. It's just shorts closing. You may get a situation when shorts start to load up again and push the price down. So it'd be different if it was longs opening. It's different now. It's shorts closing. But I'm not seeing fuck, what did I do? I'm not seeing at the moment I'm not seeing bearish divergences. I'm actually seeing a little bit of bullish divergence right now. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So while people might be thinking, should I short? Not when you're starting to see bullish divergences, but that means that the CVD is dropping lower. You can see that the CVD is dropped lower than here, but the price is actually higher, which means that the selling is being absorbed by buyers, by limit longs. Okay, so right now it's not a good kind of, the order flow is not suggesting shorting at the moment. At the moment it's not, and so you just have to bear that in mind. You see here the CVD this morning, the CVD dropped, but the price, the lows got higher. So there was a little bit of bullish absorption this morning when the price is at 108, and now the price is at 108, but it's like $500 or $600 higher. So there's a little bit of buying going on here. Yesterday there was a little bit of selling, you could tell, because the CVD was going up and the price wasn't. You see the CVD was making higher highs, but the price wasn't, and so naturally it was quite bearish. The price was going down and down and down. Now we're in reverse. We're above the VWAP, above the daily open. That generally, look, the daily open here is already acting as support. So I think the first sign of weakness in my imagination is going to be losing the daily open combined with the VWAP. You lose that, then you're going to start seeing a lot of shorts enter, a lot of longs close, right? So just bear that in mind. But I don't know if this move up is actually healthy. It looks like it's just shorts closing. It's not longs opening. It doesn't look like it. And here you see this OI just went up by a bunch. How much did it go up by? 4.5 mil. That's a short opening there. See that? That's a short opening. A big short's just opened. And these are market. Look, minus 35, 8%, minus 5 mil. See that? So these big shorts are opening now. But they're being absorbed at the moment. So you just got to bear that in mind. So what does that mean on the current charts? Well, look. Notice the price is going up, but it's not really moving that much. So we haven't seen a big move. It's contracting for a big move. I do think down. I don't know why. I just think down rather than up, but that's mainly because we're at the highs underneath the all-time high. But it still needs, you know, the price could always, and this is where I could be wrong for reasons that I can't usually explain. I'm trying to explain it. This could be like that, you know, or whatever. This doesn't have to be down there. And the price could also kind of just go sideways here. Lower highs until eventually you break and go up. So timing is really important. So for me, somewhere between the 14th of July to the 21st of July is the right time for some kind of pivot low to be put in. All right. So that's Bitcoin. I hope that helps. I'm actually going to take a 5-minute break. 5-minute break. 5-minute break. And then I'm going to talk about TRVL. All right. TRVL is looking good. Yes. My video is working. Yeah, my video. Everyone's like, yes, Amir's back. The videos are working. with no one, people have stopped selling. They're starting to buy again. How amazing is that? So I'm going to take a 5-minute break and then I'll be back to talk about TRVL, SLERF, and so if you missed it, just on over BTCD for the last right. Let me take a 5-minute break. Kitawa Kesil, I'm going to come back with TRVL. T13, do you want me to have a look at AIGPU? If you do, then just remind me. Remind me. Okay, if I have a bit of time, I've got 1 hour. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I've got 1 hour. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and get a drink. Oh, I've got a drink. What the hell? I'm going to get another drink. All right, be right back. Okay, I am back. Where is everyone? All right, so TRVL, let us talk about it. What's going on? What is going on? Well, you haven't already not watched my previous video. I really do think that you should. RH, alaikum salam, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. RH is in the house. If you haven't watched my video on TRVL, please do. It's a really important video I made 2 days ago. Oh, sugar, where is it? Should be here. Playlists. There it is. Why is it not visible? How do I change this? I have no idea how to change this. Hold on. Hey, I'm back. Yeah, long time. Long time. Yeah. I took a break, huh? Took a break. Content. Playlist. There it is. Why is the playlist not visible? It should be here. It's not there. How do I do this? I don't know how to do this. Customize channel. That's it. Home tab. There you go. Perfect. Bring it up. There you go. So if you go to my channel, yeah, I went to El Salvador for 3 months. I was there for 3 months learning how to surf. Just relaxing, enjoying life. So if you haven't watched it already, this is the video to watch. It's called Big Dtravel Changes Will Cause TRVL to Explode in Price. Please watch this video, 30 minutes, not long. Only 66 views. If you watch it, make sure you like it. And if you want to share it, it's a really important video. Okay. Basically, I go over the reasons why I think TRVL is going to have a real nice uplift. I talk about the technicals, talk about the fundamentals, right? And so effectively what we're looking at in TRVL are fib time pivots. And the last fib time pivot was on the 3rd week of April. And we had a really nice reaction. And the next time pivot, we're looking at the 3rd week of July. And we're coming close. There's no reason why we can't go up before that pivot. Yeah, there's no reason why. There's no reason why we can't go up now. Yeah. Time pivots are areas. They're not exact specific moments. They're areas of time. And then we have a really major time pivot at the end of December. So, and that's a big one. And so really what I'm thinking to myself is we bottom here. Excuse me. Somewhere between now and the next couple of weeks. And then I'm thinking for a nice uptick, uplift all the way through to the end of December. That's what I'm thinking. Now, the chart looks miserable. It looks terrible. It looks unbelievably bearish. Okay. But look at the 6-month candle, which is closed at the end of June. It's closed really strongly with a flat bottom here. Okay, with a really minor, really small wick. I'm looking at the XC chart. Look at that, really small wick. Okay, let's have a look at the volume quickly. Quite high volume. So to be honest with you, I do expect this whole candle to be reversed. Just this candle, I do expect that. I do expect this candle to be reversed in some kind of meaningful way. Now, I'm not really expecting what happened here where you had this kind of drop and continuation. I am expecting some kind of reversal here. I do think that the price could go all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, right back to the top, which would take us all the way up back to 4.5 cents. Yeah. Now, I think that's in my imagination, along with the rest of crypto, that's the highest probability outcome in this chart, which is a healthy 700% increase in price from where it currently is. That's really what I'm imagining. Yeah. And I don't know how it's going to end on the yearly candle, because when you look at the yearly candle, again, it's looking quite depressing. Could we get a yearly candle with the price closing back into the range like that with a nice wick? I think that's possible. And if that does happen, yeah, then we've potentially, we're creating some kind of really higher time frame structure where we could actually explode out of these lows in the highest time frame in the future. Okay, so right now we're in kind of mid-year. We've got this 6 monthly candle that's been printed. See that? And so in the same way we had this kind of flat bottom here, I am imagining we get something similar here, and it could even go all the way up, right back up to test those highs. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now, to go right back up to test this green wick. And depending on how crazy the market is at the time, I think it's very possible that we go all the way up to fill those wicks, you know, just to go and test those highs one more time. Once that happens, we're back into the range. Yeah. Now my target is the end of December. Okay. So a lot of people are thinking to themselves, yeah, crypto's over by September. I don't think the charts are telling me that. The fib time on this is telling me end of December. So fib time on this has been quite accurate. So I'm kind of inclined to just go with it. Yeah, I'm not really bothered what anyone else is saying. If I use this pivot, so let's just say that pivot was a bit premature and we use this pivot. Yeah, we're coming into the 618 by next week. So you see we've got a major pivot coming in here just based on these two pivots. We have the 618 and the 1 to 2 at roughly the same time. So somewhere between next week and the week after. Okay. Then based on that, the 1st of September is another pivot. So we can get a pullback on the 1st of September. And then we're looking at somewhere between November, end of November through to December. There's a few kind of ways to do this, but I'm just basically looking at these original fib times. You can see the volume is really important here. Look at that volume. You had such a large amount of volume at these lows. It's kind of what you want to see. You want to see quite good volume at the lows, and we're starting to see that. Now, in the same way that you're looking at this and you're going, wow, lots of people selling. Don't forget, people selling equates to people buying. Yeah, it's not just people selling, people are buying. People selling, people buying. So the fact that we've had so much volume here, how much volume have we had on MEXC here over those 2 months? I'll tell you. 128 million tokens, 157 million. If I go to the combined chart, which is this one, between all the various exchanges, minus the one on base, so that's the only one that's missing, and I go back to the volume again, we've had like 600 million, 400 million, 200 million. This green candle was nearly 400 million, 400 million. There's a lot of volume here in these lows, a lot of volume. Okay, look at that 3 month candle. We had 1.36 billion volume tokens. That's more volume. That's more volume than we had when the price collapsed back in the end of the last bull market. Yeah, so we're getting volume here. So this is what you want to see. What you want to see at the lows is volume. We're seeing it. We're starting to see volume. Okay, look at that 6-month candle. Look at the volume there. That's 2 billion in volume. So there's a lot of TRVLs being traded. Yeah, and that's a good sign. That's kind of what you want to see. You want to see volume, and so we are starting to see volume. Now you could argue, well, that's bearish volume, and it is. Yeah, it is. To be fair, it is bearish volume, increasing volume, decreasing prices. But at the same time, it doesn't mean we don't go up to test. Yeah, we don't go. It doesn't mean we don't go up to test. So I am expecting another push up, and I think probably the push up will be to go and kind of retest these highs, retest the value area high again. It's kind of what I'm expecting for the next few months. And so for a lot of people who are trapped, you know, I think there's some good news. It's got a large part to do with the changes that are coming. Sorry, not the changes that are coming, the bull market, you know, but also I think there's a lot of changes coming to Dtravel, and I kind of talked about them in the video that I was talking about a couple of days ago. And so the most important thing you can do right now is go and watch that video. Okay, go to my channel, have a look at that video, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Now, with these changes, there's going to be a lot of future discussions where we have the potential to take Dtravel and make it big. Yeah, and this is what I've been talking about as well. Behind the scenes, I've been talking about some ideas of how to do that. I've got some really crazy ideas, but let's not talk about those ideas just now. The other thing that I'm looking at in this chart is something else, and so I just wanted to share that with you. So again, I'm looking at this kind of combined chart. Actually, let me go to the MEXC chart. The reason why I use MEXC is because it has the original launch. Bizarrely, I'm looking at some kind of corrective pattern like this. Bizarrely. So it's almost there was no impulse, and then we just went straight into a correction. Yeah, from the launch, you went straight into like an ABC. It's really weird, huh? Let's just say you had the launch, and you went into this corrective pattern. Let me kind of show you. Let's say there's a 5-wave corrective there. It looks like a 5-wave corrective, like an ABCDE. Let me go to the weekly time frame. Let me just hide that fib time. One, two, three, four, five. Then you have like a ABC, and now you have another A, B, C. See that? In my mind, that's a WXY. There's your W, there's your X, and there's your Y. Okay. So even though we didn't have an impulse, we have had a correction. We've had a really strong correction, and I think we're at the bottom. I really do. I think that's kind of it. Based on these pivots, if I do some kind of time pivots, just based on these pivots. RH is asking me a question. No, I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do that after this. See, look. So you see the 618 came to that local top there, and look at where we are. Look, like I said, the third one, the end of April was the pivot there, and the next pivot, which is the 1.618 on this, is the end of December. See that? So just based on that, I am thinking that this correction is over. I'm really thinking that. I'm thinking that that's it. It's like a WXY. You've had your waves. You've had your 5 waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have this kind of ABC correction like that. It's like a flat. And then you have this kind of zigzag all the way down. And this is quite an interesting one because it goes down 2x the distance. Yeah. So when you do a fib extension like that, It's not even 2x. See, it pushes 2 would be all the way down to there, all the way down to these low numbers. It comes down almost a tad above the 1.618. Yeah, so we're kind of in the right area at the right time to form a bottom. And so confirmation for me right now, just looking at the charts, I think what I want to see is this, and I'm just going to tell you, okay, obviously I want to see impulsive moves and market structure change, okay. And so that's really important. Market structure change is really important. Right now in the weekly time frame, we've put in a higher high. That was your lower high. This is your lower low. This is your higher high. We've put in a higher high on the weekly time frame. So the minute the price is able to take out that high on the weekly time frame, then we're looking at a weekly market structure change where you're now putting in higher lows and higher highs. Okay, that's really important. Once you get a weekly market structure change like that, you're expecting the price to go up higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, kind of like that. That's kind of what you're expecting, because that's the structure. The structure is higher, higher, higher. So what happens is that people buy, they sell, then they buy back in slightly higher, they sell slightly higher. And we haven't really had that in a meaningful way. This could be a turning point. If the price of TRVL can get above a shade above 1.19 cents, then we're looking at a weekly market structure, assuming we don't take out the low. And that's going to be a big deal, because we've never really had that. Like, we have had weekly bullish structure, but it's been very messy. It's been very messy, and it's been very kind of like short-lived. Whereas now I think maybe we can have more of a kind of much more kind of prolonged structure, which takes us to higher prices. So that's the first thing I'll be looking for, is a weekly market structure change. The second thing I'll be looking for is a reclaiming a range, the reclamation of a range. So this is the MEXC chart, but basically what you want to do is you want a nice close back into this range. That's going to be back into, effectively back above 2 cents. If we can get the price of TRVL back into this range, that will be, for me, that will be a sign of strength. So this first sign of strength would be a market structure change. The second sign of strength would be for the price to get back into this range. That'll be a sign of strength. Once you start seeing signs of strength, it's all buying. It's not selling anymore. In the same way that when you saw weakness, it was selling, you're going to see people buying. People buy strength and they sell weakness. And so what we're looking for is strength, getting back into that. So this is going to be a real test to get back into the range, to get back above 2 cents. It's going to be a real test. It is possible we go up, we reject, we come back down, put in a higher low, have another attempt. You know, like, I don't know about the timings, but it is possible. And it wouldn't necessarily be wrong for the price to go up, to try and get in, to get rejected, to try and get in and just consolidate, to break up. That would be doable, to kind of consolidate, to break up. Once that happens, you're back into the range. The price naturally should go right to the top of the range, and that will take us right back up to a shade over 5 cents, maybe 5.5 cents, to test 5.5 cents. And it's kind of what I'm looking for. Also, I'll be looking for the waves. I'll be looking for the Elliott waves. And so I'm kind of keeping an eye on the waves, because we are potentially at the lows right now. Actually, we are at the lows, yeah. Because we've had one kind of move already here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that? So this, if we can hold a higher low here, if we don't invalidate this first wave, we don't make a lower low, we put in a higher low here, then we could be looking at the next wave to be the big wave 3, which means that the top of this would be a support line, and then we'd be looking at, potentially we'd be looking for the next move to go up like that. For that will be your first wave complete, for another pullback for the wave 3, which would be the big wave. And so this is kind of what I'll be looking for: the wave 1 to complete, followed by a corrective move for the wave 3, which would be the big 3, and then obviously a little kind of wave 5 at the end. So I think we're kind of in the right territory now. for the best buy on this token. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now when it comes to the price action on TRVL. Now you could also look at TRVL BTC. It looks miserable as hell, doesn't it? It looks terrible. But you know what? Deep corrections like this can be reversed very quickly, especially in the right circumstances. You had such a massive sell-off. When this actually starts to pump, I wouldn't be surprised if we just do that. Honestly, we just reverse it really quickly. I wouldn't be surprised. Against BTC, that would be maybe 1,000, maybe more % increase in value. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, hope is not lost. Like, yeah, all the way up to the golden pocket. That would be my target. Right back up to that mini range that we lost before the price collapsed. That's kind of what I'm thinking when it comes against TRVL against B. Again, that would be really nice because we lost this historic downtrend. You see this downtrend? We lost it. Then we lost the line underneath it. If we can get back in, then that's a good sign. If you can get back into lost levels or lost lines, that's a good sign. Even if you do reject in the future, you may go down, test it again, form some kind of structure until in the future we can break out to the upside. So these kind of like anomalies where the price collapses, it's quite scary, but it's not scary when the project doesn't collapse. Yeah. So in this kind of circumstance, you think, oh my God, the project is going to zero. And I think maybe in the future, people will realize how close the project did come to collapsing. But the fact that it hasn't, and it isn't, the fact that I'm back, the fact that I'm talking about positive changes, leadership changes, DAO changes, there's a lot of other changes that are coming, which I've heard about, rumors, which I haven't talked about, tells me that actually, I think we're good. I think we've got through the hardest, or almost the hardest part of the troubles that Dtravel faced. And the chart is actually, just based on what I said before, it's kind of looking like a WXY corrective at the moment for me. And so I'd be interested to see what the next move is. Now, I've spoken to certain people from Dtravel, and they're talking about a motherfucking great marketing campaign to beat all marketing campaigns in the next 6 months. So they're hungry, okay? Which makes me hungry. Even though I'm having my protein shake, I'm still hungry. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the alt season that's about to come, we have a pump that actually exceeds expectations. And so right now I'm talking very muted. I'm talking about muted expectations. Muted expectations would be to take us right back up to the value area high of this range. But given the right circumstances, I wouldn't be surprised if, in the same way that this down move overshot the down to the downside in a way that no one really expected. Yeah, no one really expected that. I wouldn't be surprised if to the upside people are thinking, yeah, this is TRVL, it's going to be shit. And then without realizing it, it just pop, and suddenly you're in the high 50 cents. I wouldn't be surprised. And then people are like, oh my God, I could have become rich. Only if I had bought at 0.5 cent. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I have no idea. But let me tell you, crypto is crazy. And you can't fade on these small projects which have real purpose and real meaning. You know, like when I was talking about Dtravel yesterday, I was talking about the business case. I was talking about the fundamentals. I was talking about my own properties and how much earnings and bookings. And I was talking about the network and how it's growing. And now you combine that with potentially game-changing changes structurally, organizationally with Dtravel. They haven't even announced it. So here I am telling you about announcements which haven't even been announced. So I feel like you're early. If you're watching me now, you're early. You're really early for the future. And let me tell you something. People don't realize this about me. I'm a little bit of a visionary. I like to think that I see the future, and I have seen Dtravel as a multi-billion dollar decentralized application, which is governed and by its own well-established token economy. I've seen that. I can see it. We're not there yet, and so this is what we're doing. We're all working towards that future, because these are just building blocks for the future, and these are like pigeon steps in effect for the future. And so I am quite optimistic about the future, and I think everything that has happened for a reason to get us to this point. All of it is like character building, learning steps, but I think going forward I'm really highly optimistic. So don't fade on TRVL. What you can see is, since the video I made, people have been buying. Yeah, you can see that. You can see people have been buying. So I think my videos helped a little bit to stabilize the floor. And I now hope that people are going to just continue to buy. If they can continue to buy. It's at a good place, isn't it? It's a really good place. Like 0.005 cents. I mean, you can't get a better discount right now on this token. Look, it's a shade underneath the AA6. I mean, come on. You could, I mean, if you're hoping for lower, you what, hoping for another 10% discount? Yeah. That's TRVL. Any questions about TRVL, just kind of zap it to me under this stream, under this post. Come onto my channel, talk to me. If you like this video, if you like my videos, please like them. We need to get as much word out on TRVL. If you don't have any TRVL, buy some, and definitely come onto the Telegram and join their Telegram. I'm trying to kind of make TRVL active again. Dtravel active. Not many people talking these days. I'm talking. Well, I was talking. So come on and say hi. We need to kind of make this channel really big again. Good afternoon, everyone. Just about TRVL soon. Gonna get this active again. That would be fun, wouldn't it? All right, that's enough TRVL. I've got 20 minutes left. Okay, I'm going to finish at 2 p.m. I've talked about Bitcoin. I've talked about TRVL. Let me have a look at Bitcoin dominance, because RH is asking me and I haven't really looked at it. Let's have a look at my chart. I haven't looked at this chart in months. Hey, Defage. Hey, thanks. I'm back. Yes. Yes, you did. Yes. Defage just say he picked up some more TRVL yesterday. Great prices. 100% agree. Yes, we need more of that. 100% agree. Yes, absolutely. And like my videos on TRVL and share them, and let's build that community again. Let's do it. Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. We can do it. Why not? Especially when it becomes a DAO, then basically TRVL holders are going to be owners of a decentralized application that's going to persist forever, really. And if you think of, when you think about forever, I really think about forever being forever. Like, there's no reason for Dtravel to ever stop, is there, in the future? Is there? Because you're talking about an application which is peer-to-peer, and people will always have properties to rent, won't they? So there's always going to be demand for this. And what we have to do in the future as a DAO is create the token economy that's sustainable, but also rewards travelers, hosts, operators, and investors. And once we do that, what happens is TRVL bottoms, and then it's gravy. It's all the way up forever, really. So I'm not saying this is the bottom. I have no idea. I have an idea, but I can't, like, not financial advice. But I do want to say that if this is the bottom at 0.0055, and if after this it's only up, then you've literally just made the best investment of your life. Literally the best investment of your whole life. Yeah, because honestly, I see Dtravel TRVL as a unicorn, as a billion-dollar application in the future, because it's a real-world application. And you know, when you go up to like back to the all-time high from where we are currently, we get to the all-time high from where we are, that's a 28,000% increase in value. That means for every $1,000, you've made $28,000. Yeah. How amazing is that? That's crazy. That's a crazy increase in value. All right. I've got short time. So that's TRVL. Quickly BTCD, and then I'm going to do AIGPU, and I guess I'll just forget about SLERF and Solana unless I have time, which I don't. Oh my God, I've got 16 minutes and we'll have to be fast. Let me have a look at BTCD. I mean, BTCD is crazy, huh? It's still crazy bullish, huh? But this is interesting. BTCD has just lost this pivot high. See that? So that's quite bad. That's like a bearish reversal potential right there on the weekly time frame. You see that, RH? And the minute we lose this 786, we're probably dropping down to this trend line, and then we're probably coming all the way back down to this back test of this golden pocket. You see where that previous range point of control is? That's a really important level. See that? At 64.5%. You see that? Because that was really strong confluence there, which is why you had the original rejection when it went up there. Bam. Yeah. But we've actually grinded right back up above it. So that's going to be a real light line in the sand. If the price comes, if the percentage or the BTC comes down like that, then you'll see a drop. You'll see a drop and probably another drop. We're back into this back test of this golden pocket again. We'll be here for a little bit, but then you've lost the trend line. So even if you go up, you could get rejected and you can just fall down all the way down. Probably just to back test this outer triangle again. Probably that will probably be the extent of the drop. So right now, what I can see just looking at it, let's just say that is the pivot, and you've got a 28236, probably 50% max wherever that top pivot lands. So I don't know how much higher it could go, because it could go higher. It could go all the way up to the, I would say, the previous range. That previous range value area high is the limit, I would say, at around 67.6. I can't really see it going much higher than that previous range value area high. We're above the previous range point of control now, right? So let's just, I mean, it could go a little bit higher. It could go up to there to drop. But then the minute you lose that previous range point of control, which is a 786, then I think you're dropping. You'll lose that trend line. You'll come back into wherever this first fib is, which is also probably the back test of this golden pocket. It'll probably bounce, and then if it comes back down, you're coming all the way down to 50 fib probably. Now, the most I think that this could drop is going to be to there. That would, for me, that's the limit. Just where it began there. I don't think much. I don't think lower. And just depending on how it drops, I don't necessarily think we're just going to come back into this triangle easily. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we're just going to do this. To me, that doesn't make sense. It'd be really bearish for BTCD if it did. If you fell down and you couldn't get back up, then you're actually looking to go much lower. But we'd have to evaluate that once it comes down for a test here, because you can see that it came for a test here to go back up. And so naturally, that's your support resistance trend line. So I do think it'll probably come back down for a test. And that will probably be a good place to exit your altcoins, probably. That's what I'm imagining right now. And not really worried about the fibs. Fib-wise though, I mean, let's just say if it came from there to there, depending on the timing, if it's by the end of December, which is kind of where I'm at right now for the end of everything, that would be the golden pocket. Just based on these the current Let's delete that. Let me just do this correctly, a bit more accurately. So this is all subject to change, yeah, depending on if this is the top pivot or not. Yeah, that would be a nice place to exit, somewhere here at the end of December, because you're getting a back test of this back trend line into the golden pocket. Maybe a nice place to exit. Your altcoins then coming back at a push, you're going all the way down to 50%, but it's kind of it's an area, isn't it? And so what you want to see next is you do want to see a collapse here. We want to see a little bit of a drop, bounce, drop, bounce, drop, bounce, drop, bounce, and just drop, 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 drop. That's kind of what we want to see. And because we're still in the back in this previous range, there's going to be a little bit of resistance, support here. So we're not just going to smash through it. We might bounce right back up for a little double top situation. I'm just looking at this previous one. I mean, it could just collapse. Look how it collapsed before. See here, just collapse, 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 and then collapsed. It could just collapse. I'm kind of thinking end of December, to be honest with you. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we'll get a nice 6 months. I think a lot of people are expecting September. On BTC, I'm still waiting for the pi cycle top, to be honest with you. We're far from that. We're far from the pi cycle top. Just hide these. So I'm just wondering if that's going to happen or not. I wonder if we're going to get a pi cycle top, a little push. It's hard to imagine right now because the red line and the green line are so far away. Because what needs to happen is that they need to cross, and we're so far away from a pi cycle top here. That that's been a signal on Bitcoin. You can't see on this. I need to go to the index. So that pi cycle top, pi cycle top, pi cycle top, pi cycle top. And pi cycle tops been correctly determined the top for 4 times on Bitcoin. So I am wondering if and when that's going to happen. Looking at where look where we are. We're here. We're kind of here where we're here. And you kind of, the Bitcoin price would have to go all the way up to like stupid numbers to top out to pi cycle top. Yeah. I don't think I would hold crypto until into the next year, because whatever happens, I'll explain why. Whatever happens with Bitcoin, look at the candles, yeah. This year, let's just say this year is a green year. You've got 3 green years. That's it. The year after is going to be red. I'm not expecting 4 green years. So whatever happens next year, I wouldn't hold crypto. You're expecting a red year after that. You'll be shorting, yeah? Look, green, green, green. The next one's red. So I honestly, I wouldn't hold crypto into next year. I think that would be a massive mistake, especially if crypto pumps and you start seeing high numbers. So yeah, I would just be careful of that. Right, Let me have a look at that for you, because you've asked like kindly. Node AI GPU. What's the ticker? Probably that one. I hope you guys like these overlays so people can see what's being said, so I don't have to kind of repeat what everyone's saying. Everyone can see on the screen what's being. Thanks to Altcoin Dreaming for that. All right, which exchange shall I use? Let's pick one. Oh. That one. I was intending to finish by 1. I might go on a little bit. I have so much fun streaming. It's fun. I miss it. 29 million market cap. The volume to market cap is good. Circulated supply is good. Looks good, dude. I'm just looking at this chart. I think it looks good. According to this. I don't know why it looks like a new token though, huh? I don't understand this. You're gonna have to explain to me. So that one that I looked at now was incorrect, huh? Mexi. What is this? What's the ticker? GPU. Node AI. So I'm not sure why. Oh, I had to look at it before. I'm not sure why this is like this and this is like this. This makes no sense because I've done all, and it may be something's going on here that I don't understand. All right. Some guy's posted something here. What does he say? Double bottom. He's saying double bottom, neckline, potential falling wedge. And he's calling it GPU looking very bullish as from the day of the launch. It's moving sideways inside potential falling wedge pattern on the weekly chart. I asked the GPU CEO in the Telegram where him and the team very active, how he stays motivated to continue building this project when the market conditions are rough. This is how he responded. Driven to achieve pure dominance and monopoly over the market. Right. So let's just say this MEXC chart is correct. Just because I've had a look at it before in the past. Yeah. And we're going to update the volume. There's a launch price here. You see the launch price on MEXC. Arguably, that's probably the most important price at the moment, which is your big SR line right now. So right now, the price is kind of slightly underneath the point of control, and it needs, you see that? You see the last time it went up, it was a perfect touch of, almost perfect touch of this SR flip, this launch price on MEXC. I think it's a really important level. Yeah. While in the past, in May or whatever, it kind of washed it a few times. The reality is that is a key level that needs to be flipped. And then just looking at the chart now, I'm just looking at, just remembering what I just read and some other guy's analysis. He was talking about this falling wedge. So let's just investigate that idea. That's the actual outer trend line there. You see that? So he's probably taking it from there to there. There. So there's two kind of outer trend lines. There's one that it's already at right now, but there's an outer one. With these outer trend lines, you have to take the furthest one. So the furthest one is from the all-time high to the next high. That further one, yeah? That's really your big resistance level as the price ascends. So what you really want to see here is you want to see the price get back into the launch price on MEX somehow. Back test and hold this SR flip. And then break that. You need a clean break of that outer one, okay? Without falling back into this lower range, which is underneath this SR flip. That's really what you want to see. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I have no idea. I'm just saying that's kind of what you want to see. And so the other thing you have to contemplate is that I guess this volume is split into multiple parts. And you've got VWAPs as well. Let's have a look at the VWAP from up there. Yeah. You're going to find some resistance there on that all-time high VWAP, anchored VWAP. That's only from the current price. It's only a 100% increase in value. Yeah. So depending on how the volume comes in now, if this anchored VWAP comes down, if this starts pushing up, you could find big resistance for another rejection here, for another test, for another lower high, for another drop. Then you just need a higher low, and maybe then we can break out to go up. Kind of, in my mind, this is more likely, just simply because that's the price. The market's always moved differently to what you think, and you've got these SR lines that really do that really do have a role in how the price moves. But I think it's okay. It doesn't look terrible. And let me just see how the price expanded up here. Yeah, it only went up 500%, 400% from the launch. It dropped in January like all the other tokens. And then, yeah, I mean, we haven't had a run on this yet after the launch, have we? And this pivot this is your all-time low. So you put in an all-time low on the 22nd of June. So we are still putting in lows. You see that? That's your recent low, 22nd of June. Let's just say that low is in. I don't like it. I can't. When I'm looking at the previous moves and Elliot Wave moves here, impulsive moves. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think any of this I don't think it's moved at all, actually. I think the whole thing it looks very corrective, even though it looks impulsive there. The whole thing looks quite corrective. This looks impulsive, but I think this whole thing is a little bit corrective. So after launch. There's quite good volume on that green candle there. I wonder if this is the low. And maybe we're going to get like another, that's what you're going to get. You need to break and you need to go up. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, mate. I think like if you're fundamentally interested in this project, then you have to dollar cost average in. This is a good area and a good time. If you're committed and you think that it's not going to fall to zero, then yeah. But technically, I mean, look, how far away from the low are we? 33% from the low. and you've got some resistance lines that are quite close. Ultimately, the golden pocket is going to be a big deal. Yeah. Let me try some other things. Let me try GAN fan as well. I like that green volume here. This is like, for me, that's the first sign of interest at the lows with a nice buying tail. So, but we are underneath the point of control. We are underneath this kind of this inner trend line, and then you've got this outer trend line, and you've got that anchored VWAP. You've got a few things that could block the price from going up. And you've probably got some trap liquidity as well, yeah. So you've got some real strong resistance areas at 0.55. There's no reason to think that this is just going to go up, because more likely than not, if you do break this inner trend line, you go up, reject for another test before we have a chance to break this out. And these out ones really your sign. We can break this outer trend line, then I think then you're going to be in a much safer place to just buy. Right now, for reasons that I can't explain, you could go up, fake out, drop down, and take the low again. No one really knows what's going to happen. So short of not knowing, if you just want to be patient and just wait for the outer trend line to break. But if you're a firm believer and you're willing to just have a relatively wide risk appetite, then you can just start buying now. In context with the rest of the market, let me have a look at these candles. I like that monthly candle. See that it went down, took out the liquidity, closed higher. This is a really nice monthly candle, this one. You could buy that wick. That red wick is nice. You have a swing failure on the monthly time frame, and you closed higher than the previous month low. So really nicely monthly candle. So honestly, that for me, that's the biggest indicator, bullish indicator yet. This red candle, this one. You could buy that. Yeah, I like that candle. Increasing volume. Look, increasing volume, but the price failed to close lower, and it took the lows. Swing failure, really nice candle. You had the swing failure of that month and that month. Really nice candle, dude. I love that candle. For me, that's like not even looking at the rest of the technicals. That candle gives me confidence that maybe the low is in. Right? I'll give you an example. Yeah, this is like a monthly swing failure too. This one. See that? Took the low of the previous month, and look what happened. Went up. So you have a monthly, this is a better candle because you have an increasing volume, monthly swing failure. Take out that low, took out that low, closed higher than the previous month low. So even though now it's looking bearish, this is the opportunity. This month is the opportunity. Does that make sense? So this, you're looking at this, you're thinking, oh, it's going down. Actually, no, the month hasn't ended yet. This could end up green, it could close higher, and then it will go up. Does that make sense? So you got to try and imagine the future based on what you're seeing currently. So I like that. I really look this, like, for me, that's the best thing I've seen so far. Let's have a look at these higher time frame ones. That's nice, that 3 monthly candle. It's like an inverse hammer. Nice volume at the lows. Yeah, that's a nice candle. for a low. And this is okay, so this 6 monthly candle is terrible, by the way. It's a bearish engulfing, close lower. Yeah, so in the next 6 months, honestly, this is your target. Don't go for higher than that, than 1.3 or whatever. Yeah, that's your target. Does that make sense? And actually, if you want to be a little bit more conservative, then just take good profit at the golden pocket, just because of that candle at around $1. Does it make sense? So that's your target. $1 is your target. And the reason why I say that is because that 6 monthly candle is a bearish engulfing. It's highly unlikely for this green candle to be a bullish engulfing. It's more likely to go up and come back down. And so you do want to take profit there at about $1. Start at $1 and then work your way up. Right? That's kind of what I'm seeing in the charts. Not financial advice. Never financial advice. Do your own research. What do you think? Do you like that analysis? Do you want more analysis? Does that help? A little bit of feedback. Any feedback? T13. T13, are you there? After T13, come in T13. If you're not there, then it's all good. Hold on, I have to respond to this message. Oh God, some guy booked my apartment and he cancelled. How annoying is that? Right, that is that. I'm running out of time. 1.618 macro targets, $10. Yeah, I don't know, mate. I just think that just be careful. It all depends on Bitcoin, and people get really wild when alts start pumping. They forget to take profit. If you take profit at $1, forget to take profit at $1 and it doesn't go to $10, then what do? I don't see it in 6 months to go to $10. I just can't see it. It'd be really crazy. It'd be up here. That would be a really bullish. That'll be a bullish engulfing after a bearish engulfing on this candle. I think it's more likely than not you just go up, have a pullback, and you can take profit there and then you can buy back in if that's what you're thinking. That would be a smarter play than to just expect it to ping up in one go. You know what I mean? Like, it's more realistic to go up and come back down and close higher. So you could take your profit and then you could look to buy back in if that's what you want to do, depending on the time. This is a really nice monthly candle, so I think it's a good place to buy. But again, why would you ignore the golden pocket? That makes no sense whatsoever. And that's at about $1. That's like a really nice area. It's a psychological area, $1, plus it's the golden pocket. And then also, you know, you've got the back underside of a trend line there, depending on when you hit. You know, you've got to think about these things. There's no reason you'd wait for $10 when you can just take a profit here and then wait for the pullback. You can come right back down to there. Do you know what I mean? For another attack. And then maybe then you can go up again and then you might take the highs or not. but you've still got these resistance lines that you have to contend with. And that's the problem when you have these charts with trap liquidity, which have lost lines. Every chart, every altcoin chart has the same problem that I've seen. So just be careful. Naka can reach $10. Oh, you're talking about Naka? Yeah, I'm not going to look at that now, but if you want to come on tomorrow, or not, I'm not going to stream tomorrow. Maybe I should. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow, but if you want to come on the next time I stream, then we can do that. I can do that for you, right? I wanted to look at SLERF, SLERF and SOL actually. What time is it? 13:14. I'm not going to look at it in depth. I'm just going to have a quick look. Again, SLERF, you have these outer trend lines that you can't ignore. That's the main one. And we're kind of at this one now. So again, you've got look at Solana. Well, Solana looks good. Above the point of control, back into this channel. A lot of coins are like slowing down in the movement, so I do think we're going to get a big move soon on all our coins, but I do wonder if Bitcoin's going to drop first. I don't know. All right, guys, I'm going to go. My next stream, I will announce it. So what I've been doing is I've been announcing my streams on X beforehand, and if you go to, what's that? It's nice. If you go to my profile on X, I'm going to post it. I'm going to post a pre-live link. Yeah. So you don't, so everyone knows when the stream's going to happen. There'll be a link there. And so you can plan it. And so today is Tuesday, the 8th of July. Do I do Thursday or Friday? Probably Friday. I'll probably take 2 days off and I'll come back on Friday. I'll post a new link. And then the question is 11 a.m. good, or should I come later, or should I come earlier? I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to fix my timings, and I'm trying to be a bit more organized in what I do. So, but if you want me to stream, then let me know. If you've got something in mind, let me know in these comments. And also, please like my videos. That'd be really appreciated. Yeah. Like, so I had a really kind of, I looked at BTC today. I looked at the Elliot Waves. I'll cut that up into a video and I'll put it up later, so you can just watch that. And then I'm going to put up my little TRVL video. Yeah. And then if you got any requests, let me know and I'll do it. If you want to chat, come on Discord. I do read it, even though I've not been active for the last 3 months. I do read. So that's a good place to catch me. And otherwise, come on to TRVL. Come on to TRVL on the Telegram, and let's have a conversation. We're trying to build that page. All right. Good job, guys. Thanks for joining me, T13. RH, you're always welcome. Defage, thanks. Always welcome. Chili was here. Christoph, DN, well, welcome. Always welcome. Thank you. Just Give me a like. If you like, I'm trying to build my YouTube, so like, that would be really appreciated. All right, take care, guys. I'm still here. I'm here. I'm back. Amazing, huh? I'm back. Right, so I'm thinking next stream, maybe I'll do Thursday. Huh? I'll probably do Thursday. So 2 days time, I'll do it at the same time, 11 a.m. UK time. I'll post the link. All right. All right. Take care, guys. Thanks, Defige. Let's see you.